Alright, so before we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know that we were in a public setting when recording this, so there will be a lot of background noise and things going on in the background. So just bear with it and, well, enjoy the video. Bands, hey, I got the bars for days, I got the bars for gays, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna smoke the haze, yeah. Alright, hang on. It's actually picking me up. Say something. Oh yeah, it picks you up. Alright, so what I was saying was that so here's the reason why I don't think that prostitution would actually, make it bad for the marriages and whatnot, right? So the simple fact of the matter is that yeah, you can go out there, spend your money, go fuck a bitch, and that'll be that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you're not gonna go home with that bitch.
You say that, but we live in a world where betas will go after an Instagram model, right?
Yeah. Well, those are betas.
Hold on, no, give me this. We have a bunch of men that'll go after Instagram models and they're not gonna chance it. Now think about it, and those are just the betas, right?
Yeah.
But think about the number of men who would get a prostitute, and then with getting the prostitute, you do have more of a connection with them because you just had sex with them, right? So there's going to be a higher proportion of men that are going to feel okay with just that little bit of the relationship, and it's just gonna damage those men, and it's also, of course, taking away the fact that prostitution is a bad thing. That's just not something that either sex should be okay with.
All right, so I get, going out there and getting a thing and whatnot, and, obviously there's going to be a lot of weak people out here that's going to have all these F's and E's involved with somebody whose job it is to suck your dick.
Sure.
Or eat your pussy, depending on your preference or whatever, right? But what it really boils down to is this, right?
Or women.
No, so what it really boils down to is this right here, though. At the end of the day, a logical man is going to know that, all right, cool, yeah, I can fuck you, but there's no legacy for me to pass on with you. And then with that right there, women are also going to lower their standards because, well, bitch, you ain't worth shit. Why do I have to put up with your attitude or whatnot if I can just get the pussy from this girl right here? Now these women are going to be forced to bring something other to the table other than their pussy in their mouth.
I disagree. First off, to your first point, we already are a lack of logical men. We are already at a lack of logical men. With the legalization, and not just the legalization, because I'm not worried about the legalization as much here. Let's go a few decades. Not just the legalization, but the stigma. When the stigma of prostitution's gone, that logic isn't going to be like, well, I'm also going to be looked bad upon, right? It's just going to be a normal thing. So one, I don't know how many logical men are going to be around with that. Two, think about it. Women aren't going to have to necessarily they will have to bring more, but that's not what young men are going to think about.
Oh, yeah, no.
Young men are going to think they're going to have to bring the pussy faster, frankly, which isn't a good thing.
Well, no, so here's why this is a good thing, right? Because with this right here, with a young man being not thinking about, okay, yeah, all right, I'm in this relationship, I'm in that relationship, so on and so forth, when I can just put a little bit of a budget away to get my pussy on a weekly basis or whatever, right? This allows them to actually focus on other things such as bettering off the, civilization, so on and so forth. Building up their little empire, building up their businesses, so on and so forth. So by the time they get to that point where, okay, now it's time for me to settle down and everything else like that, they can go out there and have their pick of the litter.
Yeah, but if their litter is going to be prostitutes.
Oh no, that's the thing about it though. You don't necessarily have to pick that.
True, but okay. Let me take a step back. First off, I would argue that the struggle in not getting pussy pushes men to be better. So if I'm getting some vag once a week when I save up money, why do I need to work any harder? I'm already getting that.
Well, like I said, when you get all the money and whatnot, because listen, if you're a man and that's your end goal in life, then in my personal opinion, you're just a failure of a man.
Sure.
You have to have more to yourself. You're just gonna fucking, I don't know, fucking die alone.
I agree, but what I'm saying is when you, once again, in theory, I agree with legal prostitution. But when you take away the illegality and the stigma, I want to believe you.
Yeah.
But I don't think that men will. We're men.
Yeah.
We've been guilty with thinking with the wrong head. And you know what? I think that most men will just think with the wrong head. And when it comes to men that would cheat, I think men are going to be way more likely to cheat on their wives with a prostitute, especially if it's legal. Because you know what? The marriage is over, but I'm not in the paper for being in jail for prostitute. You know what I mean? So I think it should be legal, but I don't think that societally it would end well.
I think it'll end perfectly fine. So here's another thing right here too, right?
Get that itch.
So here's another thing about it too, right? As you should know, women outnumber men.
Sure.
Right? So with that being that, I don't have a problem with, you know, a man going out saying, you know what, I gotta fuck this bitch. I mean, you can still like a lot of dudes out here and whatnot, right? I'm not sitting here, you know, condoning cheating or anything else like that.
Sure.
But a lot of dudes that do cheat, they don't want to hurt the girl they're with because they are actually in love with wherever the fuck they're in with whoever they're with or whatever, right?
Sure.
But at the same time, it's pussy. It's in our nature.
Sure. I agree.
Now, with that being that, the reason why I don't think that it'll be as bad is because of the simple fact of the matter is that, you know, take a look into history and everything else like that. There were actually places where prostitution was legal. Hell, even nowadays, prostitution is still legal in certain countries, and yet there's still men out there that find wives or whatnot that go off and be successful in other things when they can easily go get the pussy on the side.
Sure, I agree.
But what it really boils down to, though, is I personally think it'll be a good thing because, in my personal opinion, I think it'll raise the quality of women. Based off the simple fact that, let me phrase that, raise the quality of the wife.
Sure.
Because as of right now, we have way too many women out here that want to be a wife but can't.
Okay, let me counter with that. Because you might be right in some respects, but I think what it will do is it'll create, as far as, let's say, quality of relationships.
No, I'm saying it's cheating.
I think it'll create a vast divide between the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
I think there will be a sizable portion of the population that I just think you're giving too much credit.
Well, what do you mean?
I think there is a vast number of people, especially growing up in our society today, where there isn't anything but me.
Instant gratification and whatnot.
Yes, that are going to stick with the prostitute forever.
You know, some people actually do marry their prostitutes. Some people in the past actually have married their prostitute.
I agree, but think about it like this, though. Those prostitutes, the difference is I actually would say back in the day, those prostitutes, and even in your scenario, the people who marry their prostitutes are going to be the rich guy that wants to take her out of the life, right?
Yeah.
But the vast majority of it is going to be Joe Schmo pining after the girl.
Well, then you know what that is then?
What?
Then that goes back to your previous argument where, you know, if they're not going to have to work for it, so on and so forth. Well, now they want that. Now they have to work for it.
Yeah, but that girl, let me put it this way. The way that you see it with OnlyFans, where these girls are pretty much, it's funny, it's like they think they invented fire. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh my God, look at this money. Like, yeah, make your money. Like, I ain't mad at you. If I could do it, I'd like to think that I have the morals not to do it. If I could, I'd like to think I wouldn't. Right?
Oh, I showed my dick for $1 million.
Yes. Well,
I show my dick for $1,000.
I showed my dick for fun. You know what I mean?
Shit, I showed $5.
Yeah. Like, I showed it for fun. Like, the point is as a woman, and I don't mean to get too old-fashioned, used to go to the soda pop store on here.
Back in my day.
Exactly.
Pop.
Women, Bless you. Women have a certain
Have you never heard me sneeze? It's pretty bad.
respect. You know what I mean?
So loud.
That is different than men, right? Men were like, yeah, show our dick for like a buck, right? Women are gonna be like, this is my private business, right?
My what business? Oh.
So the thing about it is I do believe that the women who are getting into this
I love you, my son.
aren't seeing one
Mother.
that it's gonna hit a hard
Okay,
stop
violence.
at like 32.
Oh hell yeah, that's when their beauty is no longer doesn't mean shit.
I mean, they could still be hot. The difference is that you're gonna have a 20-year-old who's gonna beat you in every single way.
So yeah, her pussy tighter than yours, girl. You might know how to suck a dick and ride better, but I can teach her.
Well, not even that. Like, once again, right? These girls, like, you're correct, but even if she was better in every way,
Pedicure on
the men who can afford it, and the men who even can't afford it but want to give the attention, are going to give it to the young new kid. There's always going to be someone younger, hotter than you. And when your life and your income is based on nothing but your sex appeal, there's a hard clock.
Well then at that point in time, it's on them to figure that shit out. One or two, they better have a good enough snatch to keep their regulars coming through and through.
Yeah, but they won't.
Hey, that's the way. That's the nature of the game, baby.
I agree,
That's the
but
nature
here's the
of the
thing.
game.
We've had our conversations before, and I think you know that I
I don't know.
agree to certain laws that I don't agree with,
Yeah.
just because I do think that what I hope to be the philosophy behind it
Mm-hmm.
to help society.
So you're in agreement with me when it comes down to these things.
Yay!
You're in agreement with me when it comes down to these things where it's just like, oh yeah, fucking
Let's be
you're doing shit that I don't agree with, but in my personal opinion, I believe you're doing it for a good reason.
Sure,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
sure. It just like when it comes to the I think someone should have the right to sell their body for money. I think someone should be able to say disgusting language.
What is disgusting language? Like, oh my gosh, he just shit on my chest, or god damn, look at that fruit booty nigga over there.
Well, okay. What I mean is what I'm saying is
Have
that
we never heard of that?
I believe that let's take the language part of this real quick. With
All you hear is
prostitution,
like,
a woman or man should have a right to sell their body, right?
My
But when
cousin.
you do that on a mass scale,
Cousin.
everyone
Oh,
wants
shit,
sex.
Okay, got it.
And I just really do believe that eventually it's just going to go downhill, and then we're pretty much going to be printing off prostitute passes at the age of 18.
Well.
And the fact is people will always put in, as a general rule, will generally put in the minimum effort
Dude.
to get by. And when your minimum effort is literally laying there and just taking it, then a lot of people are going to take that.
All right, so here goes another question for you then. Do you think that prostitution can possibly save marriages?
No.
I think so.
Give me an example, because maybe I'm thinking a little myopic.
Because sometimes you want to beat the shit out your wife.
So you're going to beat the prostitute?
No, not beat your prostitute. You fuck a prostitute, and all of a sudden you're happy. You ain't got to worry about beating the shit out your wife no more.
Okay, fine. But I would counter that marriage shouldn't,
It shouldn't be, right?
right? I'm not saying outlaw divorce. I'm not saying outlaw divorce. I'm saying that I do believe that I've always said that when cell phones came out, it was one of the biggest power shifts between men and women.
How so?
Because back in the day, women have always been able to use their feminine wilds to get what they want from men, right? But until there was a phone in your hand and you could scroll through the people that will do things for you, it was never truly at hand. Like a girl, like in the 80s, she could call a few different dudes. But if she left the house to be with one, and some guy stopped by the house or called the phone, she wasn't there to get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now she can be out with guy A, and then guy B can be texting her while she's with guy A, and guy C can send a text. The whole point is...
And that's the reason why we need prostitution. They got all these women. They got all these niggas. I can go fuck a bitch.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You don't want the girl that doesn't have another guy going after her.
Just like the women should not want a dude that doesn't have several women pining after him.
That's true. That's true.
With that being that, and we already know that men are basic creatures, why wouldn't he just,
I guess what I'm saying is, and once again, I hate to sound super conservative and stuck up my own butt here. I'm trying to protect men from their basic instincts by having prostitution.
Whereas I'm trying to have women grow so that we can have a better pick of the litter from our women when it comes down to marriage.
I agree with that, and I do believe. Let me put it this way: if we could make prostitution legal, but truly keep the stigma attached to it, then I'd probably be okay.
Oh, more than likely you'd be able to. No, so
how many things have you seen?
No, here's the reason why I'm saying more than likely you'd be able to, right? Because again, we're going to use history as an example here. Everyone knew that these whorehouses and whatnot were there, but you would go there to these places in secret. You don't want the people to find out. People should not know about who you lay with, so on and so forth. That's what happens with these prostitution houses.
True, but you don't think our culture is degenerating to a point where pretty soon...
Well, then again, you can't make fun of a girl for being obese nowadays. You can't make fun of you can't make fun of shit nowadays. You got a point. You got a point. I will concede to that one. You got a point. People are too sensitive.
Well, let me put it this way. Like fat jokes, I find it funny, right?
Uh-huh.
But I can see why they're mean.
Fat jokes are funny.
Fat jokes are funny as fuck. And here's the reason why I can't see them as mean. So here's the reason why I can't see that as mean.
Fat people running with their
You can control your weight.
I agree.
So,
well, isn't it interesting, right? We making fun of someone based on their race is considered, unless you're friends with them, it's considered a bad thing, right? Making fun of someone because of their weight, it's considered a bad thing. But what's interesting is you see people telling people to stop shaming. You chose to be a prostitute or prostitute adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
That is your choice. Now, that means two things. One, that means it certainly should be allowed to be made fun of.
yeah.
Second, it almost makes it worse to make fun of it because it's not like it's something I was born with. You made that.
You made
choice.
that? Hell yeah.
So, yeah. If prostitution was made legal, I just think the stigma would move. Because it's already leaving. You see all the posts online, pro-sex work and all that business?
So check this shit, right? Here's what I find funny about that, right?
Why. Now we know why.
You say that the stigma's leaving, but I doubt that. And the reason why I say I doubt that is because although you get all these weird motherfuckers out here, all these companies with their rainbow flags, especially in this month now, majority of America, majority of people in the world, they are not with that program. They're not down with that program. It's one of those things where a majority of us are simple creatures. We will treat you with respect, so long as you treat us with respect and whatnot. But just because you're a dude that sucks another dude's dick, you don't get any extra privilege. Just because you're a girl that eats twat, you don't get extra privilege.
Sure, I would agree with that.
And so, with that being that, the way that I see it is the majority, like I said in one of my posts beforehand, majority of us aren't really gay. It's a very small percentage of people here that are actually gay. The small percentage of people that's with that community, and yet somehow, some way, the way that the things are being portrayed, put into the media and everything else like that, they make it seem as if it's a much higher percentage than what it really is.
Sure.
So that's the reason I'm like,
But we also you can't tell me that how should I put this? I would say there has been a massive explosion, and at the very least, prostitute-adjacent type situations here with young women.
I mean, OnlyFans and whatnot.
That's what I mean.
So I respect the hustle though. I would never pay these bitches worth shit, especially when I get that shit for free.
Yeah, right. But the point is I don't respect it.
Huh?
I understand it.
I respect the hustle.
I don't.
I respect the hustle.
I don't. because look, I understand it, and it is easy, but that is exactly why I don't respect it.
All right. So question then, right? You have a job, right?
Sure.
Your job takes advantage of what?
Of my intelligence.
No, none of your intelligence. What is your job? What does your company do?
My company.
Yeah.
I help people apply to get certain privileges. Let's put it that way. I want to keep it. If you're posting this, I want to keep
Okay,
it.
we'll keep it. We'll keep it as is, right? So, in other words, those people that get those people that are given their privileges or whatever, they pay your company.
No, we are actually a free service, and we assist them.
How the fuck y'all get paid?
Because we run the software.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
No. If y'all are free, how the hell do you get paid? That don't make no sense.
We run the software, and the government pays us for the software.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Fuck it. Well, so, majority of the companies and whatnot out there,
Sure.
they actually get paid for a service, if you will.
Sure. Well, I provide a service. I ensure that people are able to use the software correctly.
Yeah. So you provide that service, ensure they get the stuff, you get paid.
Sure.
So is that not respectable?
It is respectable.
So these hookers, these hoes, these sluts, these prostitutes, bitches, they sell their body, or they sell pictures of their body, or videos of them getting fucked by a dildo, or a big buff black man named Victor Doom. You know,
Victor Doomy.
Victor Dooman. You know, they show these
song's
videos
about
and
me, by the
whatnot. They show these videos and whatnot, and they get paid for it. So they provide a service of showing their little twat, and they get paid for it. How's that not respectable?
Because anyone
Anyone can do it.
can do it.
I'm about to say, shoot, anyone.
Yes.
But anyone can work at McDonald's.
Yeah, but no,
that's
let
not
me rephrase this. You know what? Again, I've told you. I'm not going to tell you where I work.
No,
but not everyone,
need to do that. No
not
need to do
everyone
that.
could do my job.
No, okay, I got
And
that.
not everyone could do your job.
That's neither here nor
Not everyone
there.
could do his job. Not everyone could do her job.
Whoa.
Well, actually, everybody could blow up.
Everyone go, Allah.
Guys, we all know a certain group of people are bad. That's my wife, by the way, for anyone that's listening. I love her.
She has a big smile on her face right now. Oh shit. Yo, we'll finish this conversation up a little bit later. That's funny. Oh shit.
Yeah, well, you want to do this again, man? Sometime I'm down.
So it's a bad thing to raise the ceiling but drop out the floor?
Yes. Well, if you ask me, single motherhood rate's going to do nothing but increase, probably. It has.
I'm not sure.
Or at least the STDs rates.
Oh, STDs, yeah, that's gonna go up.
Sure. And then,
Well, then again, I'm not 100% sure on that because, you know, if they decide to do this, make it legal and everything else like that, needless to say, it's gonna go through regulations and whatnot as well.
you say that, but
I mean, you know, I'm not saying that it won't.
there's
go up.
moonshine for alcohol. There's going to be moonshine for prostitutes, right? If you have to go to Johnny's prostitute barn to get the $100 whore, right? Or you could go to where they're doing, back alley, old-fashioned prostitute for $25 who isn't getting the tests.
I'm gonna spend my
And there's
$100.
no stigma, but there's no stigma anymore.
I'm getting my
A whole-
$100.
a prostitute's
Fuck that
prostitute,
shit.
right?
Nah,
See, but that's you, though.
I'm getting my. If I won't
That's
be spending
you.
my money on a prostitute, first things first, I won't be spending money on a prostitute because these motherfucking prostitutes cost way too goddamn much, $1,000 and shit. You know, check this shit out, right? I don't know if you know this or not, but I got approached by a fat prostitute bitch.
I got
This
one, too.
bitch gonna have the nerve. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll entertain it. I can see about getting my dick sucked. This bitch had nerve, so I was like, oh, it's gonna cost you $300. It's like $300. I could beat my dick for $300, bitch. You got me fucked up.
What the hell was that?
They're trying to watch porn.
But yeah,
But no, what I was saying was, first we talking about some. Oh, I normally charge $900. I'm giving you a discount. It's like, no way in fuck.
well, I mean, when you think about it, though, Yeah, I've been approached by prostitutes. That was awkward. I just slowly rolled up the window and then kind of looked straight ahead, like, go away. Kind of like when a homeless dude comes up, you know? But, no, when here's the thing. STDs are definitely going to go up. Not only that, you know, dudes who are cheating on their wives, right? I think it should be legal, but I really am just trying to protect society from itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. And maybe I should. I'm usually all about freedom. I don't like hearing this come out of my mouth, but I just think if we let it go, then it's going to be one more negative thing for people to aspire to. And don't get me wrong, like when it comes, I'm not like sex is a great thing, right? And porn stars, it's funny because I actually don't have that opinion about them. I really don't.
It's the same thing.
It isn't actually.
It's the same thing.
And you want to know why I don't think it is? Is because you know what? Their lines are terrible when they're on the screen, but you know what? God's sake, they actually had to do it.
What about amateur porn? So I beat my dick to amateur porn. I ain't gonna bullshit
Sure. But there has to be a certain degree of value in cinematography, if you will, in the sense of like, if they take up enough time to put the camera on a tripod,
They're just being
probably better.
They're
What?
just being exhibitionists.
Close the door.
Okay.
Because you guys are loud.
Okay.
We're the loud ones.
Right now you are.
But no, though, they're just being exhibitionists.
Sure, but what I mean is when it comes to porn, I mean, like the whole point is I ain't gonna watch something if someone's hands holding the camera flying around. You know what I mean? Like what the thing about it is like, look, with I think porn should be legal, of course. I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but I do believe that. Because that's the difference, right? Porn stars, if I'm not mistaken, have to sign a contract where they can only have sex with other porn stars. That way, STDs can't get involved.
Hell if I know.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
I'd say hell if I know. I never really dove into it. Like at one point in time, I wanted to be in porn, and then I was told a bullshit story about how if a man has to be in porn, they have to fuck a man. I was like, yeah, fuck that.
That's actually,
Is that actually true?
yeah.
Fuck that. I'm glad
I don't want to say it's like 100% true,
Yeah,
but the
no.
reason why I say that's true
Because that's
is-
where the money is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fuck that shit. I'm not sticking my dick in another nigga
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
I'm not letting a nigga suck my dick. I'm not doing none of that shit. Hell nah.
Because I mean, like, it ain't women that are paying for porn sites.
I know a few.
Yeah, but it's dudes
You're right.
and it's gay dudes.
It's most, yeah, you're right. It's mostly
that are
dudes.
going to be paying for that shit. But I mean, when it comes down to it, like, I find the let me put it this way: I was one of those men who saw nothing beyond sex. So I didn't have what you had. It literally took meeting my wife to show me that there was something. Because you know what? I'd have been fine just having sex with the next girl until kingdom come. And that's not a fun thing to have to think about now that I'm
Now that you're where
looking
you are
back
now,
on,
yeah.
right, where my life was that empty, but I was completely fine with that emptiness. Now, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like to me, like, until you met your wife, you've been dealing with a whole bunch of ain't shit bitches.
That very well may be true, and probably is. But my point is that if there was no stigma attached to prostitution, I could have just been that much more lazy about it. Because you know what? Back in those days, if there was one thing I cared about, it was getting the next one. So I planned, I worked, I did everything I could just to get that next fix. Now, if that next fix was handed to me, you're right. Maybe I would have focused my attention somewhere else. But I doubt it.
All right, so here's another question for you then, right? I know you keep bringing up, the removal of the stigma and whatnot, right? And, unfortunately, as much as I hate to agree, that's probably what they do. After all, you know, we can't slut shame nowadays. You can't fucking fat shame. Yo, your body shaming. So, man, fuck out of here with that bullshit. They tell me I can't. I'm gonna do that shit anyway. The bitch is a hoe. She's a fucking hoe. And so, with that being that, would you really consider sticking your dick, even if she's a prostitute, pay for it and all that good shit? Would you really, you yourself, pay for a bitch that has at least 50 dicks inside of her?
Let me put it, if we are putting ourselves in a world where there is no stigma of prostitution.
No, what I'm saying is this right here, right?
If you're asking me right now, no.
No, what I'm saying right here, right now, is the fact of the matter is that there's always going to be a stigma on it. No matter how you say it. And even if fucking people start saying, no, you can't say that, you can't do this, that, and the third, there's still a stigma on it. I mean, like I said earlier, we can't slut shame. But at the end of the day, the only thing a slut is good for is taking dick. She's not worth shit else. And as men, we know this. And we will still continue to this day to say it.
True, but I also would say, let me put it this way.
So, while fucking everyone else is saying, oh, this is A-okay, this is A-okay, us as men, yeah, this is A-okay, but at the end of the day, that's not something to write home about.
Sure, no, it's not. I mean, no one's gonna, I don't think there are many people that are going to have sex with a prostitute and be pumped about it. I think they're gonna do it because they either have a deficiency within themselves or they're lonely. Those, I think, are the two charitable things that I might say. But there are plenty of men who want that sexual connection and will lie to themselves to get it. And if that lie comes in the form of a Ben Franklin, then they're gonna do it.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely fuck with that logic.
And the problem with that is like I said, I always told myself, I didn't get women for quite a long time. I'm not going to say this because it's being recorded,
Yeah.
but longer than you ever would think. Let's put it that way.
All right.
And even on those days where I would say, it's just never going to happen, I never once considered going to a prostitute. Because that was just me.
Yeah.
Right? That was just me. I had my line in the sand. Right? But I know plenty of men who wouldn't have that line. Who, in my opinion, the sole reason why they wouldn't do it is its illegality. I think the handcuffs on the wrist and the pure humiliation of being of the boner going down as the blue lights are behind you is the reason why they don't do it.
All right. So, while you know a couple dudes like that, a lot of the people that I know, and this is what I feel as if most men are. Most men don't want to pay for pussy.
No, of course not.
I mean, would you, like you just said,
Never would.
all that time, you never even once considered paying for pussy?
No.
I don't like to pay for pussy. In fact, I don't pay for pussy.
Of course.
You know? I was willing to get this bitch $40 to suck my dick, but that's because it was thrown out there.
Sure.
But, no, to be honest with you, there isn't really many men that I know personally that would actually pay for pussy. And it really comes down to the point where, at the end of the day, us men, we'll have to hold each other accountable for this shit.
Men don't do that.
I mean, my group of friends do.
Really?
Yeah. That's the best part about my group of friends. We talk so much shit to each other, but through us talking shit to each other, we keep each other in line.
Sure. Okay, let me rephrase that. I think you and we're quite different, but one thing that I do think, just however it happened through the course of our lives, I think you and I have a certain set of moral standards that we have set for ourselves, that we won't break. And I don't want to get too deep into this, but if you let me go for a second here.
Sure. floor is yours.
I know of a situation where one of my friends, he would pretty much just cheat with anybody, right? Didn't even know it until like a lot later, you know? And it wasn't with prostitutes, of course. But it makes me wonder if this person is cheating all that time. Imagine a situation where it's legal, you're not going to get in trouble for it, you know what I mean? How many more times would have been added to it? You know what I mean? And it's just if you were to put a gun to my head, I'd say, yeah, prostitution should be legal. I just would be saying that just because I believe in freedom that much. But I don't know if you can convince me that it would end up well.
No, I got you.
You know?
No, I definitely get you. Like I said, you definitely voice your concerns. It definitely makes sense. All coming from a logical standpoint.
You know, it's just and mind you, I mean, Jesus, man, I've had some friends that I'd love to be able to just buy a girl for, you know, for the night, and just be like, just do it already.
I know a guy in particular that I want to do that for. You know, in fact, he actually ended up fucking a girl I tried to fuck. That shit was funny as hell.
Good for him.
Not so much. I mean, at the end of the day, I got accused of rape, and it was what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I think women will take the easy path, and I think that men are so driven by sex that they would follow them down that road.
All right, so now here's another thing too, right here, right? Now, I know I get a lot of flack for this.
Okay.
Right. You know, throughout my studies of history and everything else like that, I've since changed my views on monogamy versus polygamy.
Okay.
So let's say a man.
Polygamist?
Huh?
Are you a polygamist?
Not yet.
Not yet. Getting there.
But no, let's say that a man has multiple wives.
Sure.
Would you consider that to be on a scale of something bad? Like, say instead of him going out, you know, fucking prostitute and whatnot, he's like, oh, you know what?
You're pretty much saying, like, is a second wife almost a form of it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think polygamy is a good thing. Let me start with that. I do believe that, by the way, there's nothing worse, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's people who are like, oh, we're just, you know, our relationship is mature enough to handle this. You know, we don't really have jealousy. You know, that type of shit that just makes you want to pop yourself in the head. But no, like, I honestly think humans, you know, it'd be natural to have the jealousy. Mm-hmm. And I just, without some sort of grooming into some sort of weird Mormon type situation where you're just brought up as maybe a young girl saying he's going to have multiple wives and that's just what it is. I don't think polygamy can be natural without some sort of oppressive grooming involving it.
See, now, whereas I disagree just because the simple fact of the matter is that, well, we can just use nature for example. The ones that actually get multiple partners or whatnot, I'll use lions for example. The main lion, the male lion that leads the pride, that leads to pride, has multiple women.
Sure.
And as far as the wolves and whatnot go, main wolf,
The alpha,
multiple
gotcha.
women, so on and so forth.
We already have that, though.
But in the walruses, like in pretty much damn near any male in any species out there, the alpha or whatever, the leader, ends up with multiple women.
Sure.
So that's what I mean by, like, is it really unnatural? We should go take a look into our history as well.
Sure.
Whereas, you know,
Let me cut in here. No, it's not unnatural. That's why Adrian Peterson has 8 kids with how many different women, right? So I understand the natural. It's hypergamy. It's women wanting to go up, right? I get that. It happens all the time. But what I'm saying is, hold on one second. Hello. Hello. It should be here soon. They left that door.
All right, we're back on.
So, in nature and even in just modern human society, it's, yes, women, the top dude, the head, the captain of the football team, gets the cheerleaders, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it isn't. But what I'm saying is enshrining that as a goal, like a happy way to end your life, I just don't think is feasible, is good.
Well, why is that?
Because even though it is true, and once again, this is me protecting people from themselves. It's been proven that, as much as some women may not want to admit it, many women would rather share a high status male than have a lower status male of their own.
Hell yeah.
I would like to not let them do that to themselves. Right? If you're going to go after that high status man, he either needs to be single or you need to take the title of a mistress. Sorry, there's no second wives. You either have to come to terms with being a homewrecker or find your own.
I'm about to say, I enjoy having the ability to have multiple wives, though.
I mean, I love my wife more than anything.
Yeah, obviously.
Right? Like I definitely, got the first round pick, first pick. But let me put it this way: even if she was okay with it, I wouldn't do it.
All right.
And the reason why is because, one, she already has me doing so much stuff. I don't want to. I don't need someone else telling me what to do. But two, I honestly think that first off, let's take with kids. I just don't think that's a happy home life necessarily. I mean, yeah, I guess there'd be someone else to take care of the kid too, but that's not your mom, but it kind of is your mom, and then what happens if you have a boy and a girl from a different mother and then they grow up and they're kind of siblings, I guess.
No, they're still siblings.
Yeah, they are, but once again, I don't know how it works. I'm an only child, by the way, so I apologize. My point is that I don't think but here's the thing. I don't know of a situation that either doesn't treat women as property or doesn't require some sort of social grooming where polygamy is acceptable. Like true marrying multiple women. It is either in the oppressive Middle East or in the, frankly, you could call it oppressive Muslim culture, the oppressive Mormon culture. I don't know if it's necessarily, if we'd use that word, but right, the grooming that has to happen, right, of you are going to be this person's second wife. That's the way it is.
But the question is, though, is it really grooming, though? If it's literally just, all right, listen, this is how our society works. We have multiple wives, and that's just the way that is.
Sure, but are you, here's the big question. Are you a cultural relativist? Are you a cultural relativist?
The fuck is
they're
that?
all cultures. Everything's equal. We're all equal. Or there are some cultures that are better than others.
Oh, well, I believe I'm the best person in the world.
Sure.
So it's neither here nor there. And, so it's like this right here, right? Every culture will believe that their culture is the correct culture.
Yeah, but
it's the same thing with the fantasy of religion.
Sure.
Where everyone that believes in, that great fictional story believes that their fictional story is the one true one. Is the right one. So it's just one of those things where if you're brought up in that's what you believe, right? So what's to say that, to their eyes, we're not the ones that's being indoctrinated to believe in monogamy?
Look, I see what you're doing there, and I understand it.
Yeah.
But the point is that, how should I put this?
That you're going to get a second wife.
No. I am very much, I would consider myself what's the term I would call myself? A Western chauvinist. I believe what we do out here is the best in the world, and we should not be ashamed of it.
Oh, yeah.
So my point is that when someone would say to me, my culture where I have multiple wives is better, part of me...
You just fuck it, I disagree.
Not only do I disagree, I would say that they're 100% wrong, and that I do believe that if I could get their wives' honest opinion and almost strip away the years of whatever the hell happened to have to go through their head to make them say, yes, I will share this man. And they would admit to me that, yeah.
Then what would you do if they had that same confidence of stripping away the years of the belief that monogamy is the right way, belief that the monogamy is what it really boils down to, when even in their religious texts and everything else like that, not their religious texts, but you're not religious, so I can't use that on you. But majority of people here,
I have an odd
religious.
Version of morality, an odd version of secular morality, don't I?
I'm right there with you though. I'm right there with you though,
yeah.
because like I don't believe in none of those fucking fairy tales, right? You ain't gonna convince me a nigga walked on water and a nigga with a rod turned to a snake, split the sea in half, and suck my dick with that bullshit.
Yeah, riding on magical horses and shit. Yeah,
you ain't gonna convince me of that shit. If that's the case, I sold the Altreon.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, the problem is if all that shit actually happened, we're getting off sidetrack for a second, but this is fun. If that happened, then why hasn't it happened the last 2,000 years? Let's see it again.
I mean, you would think that something bad would happen. I mean, after all, hey, God, we killed your son. What the fuck are you gonna do about it? I mean,
bitch.
We killed your son. What you gonna do? You gonna forgive me?
Yeah, right? What's the difference between Jesus and a picture of Jesus?
What's this now?
There's only one nail in a picture of Jesus.
That's enough of that. But nah, though, fucking.
Thought you'd enjoy that one. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but what if they literally sat there? It's like, all right, because like I said, inside of a lot of religious texts and whatnot that majority of people believe in all actuality, polygamy is within these religious texts and everything else like that. So it's literally just one of those things. Like I said, you go back into history of all.
Yeah, but I would
still there. Even in some of the other societies where women were actually starting to get power, such as the Roman Empire before the fall.
I would agree, but back then, I think, let me put it this way. I understand why it was a thing back then. And the reason why is because
people died a little bit too quick.
That's true.
Lifespan was a lot shorter. War was happening a lot.
Until the Enlightenment, I would argue that things like mercy and kindness weren't positive attributes. They weren't how you survived. Now, after that, when we were maybe a little more civilized, that is how you survive.
So basically, after men built civilization.
Yes, sure. Well, yes. After civilization was built by men. After civilization was built, we had the luxury to be nice. But you want to talk about savage times, even during the Romans, the fact is if you, as a woman, needed to get protection for you and your offspring, you would need to gravitate to the most powerful man. And that most powerful man, if you shared him with 2 or 3 other people, then that's fine. It was still your best way for you and your children to go.
And that still goes on to today, though.
I agree.
Which is what you said earlier with sharing that high status man.
But because we no longer have the immediate threats to the extent we did back then, I do believe those more, dare I say, savage tendencies can be curbed a little bit. Look, the fact is, let me put it this way. For everyone listening to this, I'm not the biggest guy around. I'm a pretty small guy, as a matter of fact. And if this was still a dog-eat-dog world, I'd be fucking dead.
Bullshit.
I'd be dead.
Bullshit. Let me tell you why?
Why?
Well, you see, here's what it is right here, because, I'm the big buff and black and all, but I ain't all that tall. But, like my man Obi Trice said, size and weight don't give you the upper hand. Just pull that shit off my waist and let it go blam.
Sure.
And that's all that really boils down to.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's take guns out. Is my point.
Right.
Once again, I'm talking about back in the day.
Okay.
Right?
Well, check this out then. Right. How do you explain the fact that a lot of the smaller people actually did survive? They end up growing into be wonderful strategists.
Sure. I agree.
I said you find your niche.
I agree that. But hear me out. I actually learned this pretty recently. It makes sense when you hear it, but I learned it pretty recently. Is that humans, look, you and me both, we have a lot more female ancestors than male ancestors.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of men never reproduced. right? Because women gravitated to the higher status men, right? In some fashion or other. So my point is that if we did that, then I think all we would, and if we allowed polygamy, what would happen? And once again, took away the stigma, right? If we allowed polygamy and took away the stigma, you'd have a vast majority of men who don't have anything. And,
But that's why prostitution is legal now.
and oh God, you're combining them. I didn't even think about that, but just give me a second. You're gonna have a bunch of unhappy women sharing a man.
Are they unhappy though?
No, you're gonna have 4 groups of people. Let me lay this out. You're gonna have 4 groups of people.
Alright.
You're gonna have one group, a small group of men who are just fucking happy as hell. You're gonna have a relatively small group of women who are rich as hell because they're prostitutes. You're gonna have a whole bunch of unhappy women who are sharing the men who still might be cheating them with prostitutes. And you're gonna have a whole bunch of men who have nothing but to buy the hooker services.
All right, so as I say, now I personally feel that's being a little bit too cynical.
Sure.
Because of the simple fact of the matter is that not everyone's gonna be Hugh Hefner status. All right, no one's gonna be able to get all those bitches in one mansion. I mean, nobody but me.
There you go. I got you. Go ahead, listen.
But nah, though. So fucking when it comes down to it and everything else like that, right? I don't think it's gonna be like 35 women for the one nigga. The one nigga ain't gonna handle that 35. He ain't gonna handle 35 bitches.
Sure, but
Right?
even
He's
if
gonna
you-
get his 5 or 6, and he's gonna be satisfied with it. There's only not even 5 and 6. Might not honestly you'll probably get like 2 or 3.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, that'll be about all that you pretty much have time for. Right? So I don't think that it'll be like much. Alright, give me one quick second.
I'm gonna call these fuckers.
Yeah, it's been a little bit too long. Ah, shoot. I didn't realize the time was this late, so we'll have to continue this conversation. Another times in 10, we'll talk about something else. Alright, thank you for being here, man.
Thank you.